You found the WMIX Saturday Sports Show on AM 940 and WMIXSports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
Good morning. Glad to have you with us. Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Chris Shuko with Danny Zerwinski in studio. High school football got underway last night. Of course, you heard the Mount Vernon Rams right here on WMIX. Watched them online at WMIXSports.com. Fell to Rochester last night by a score of 32-6. Before we get to all of that, we'll talk with Mount Vernon Rams head coach Jared Shaner. We'll talk with some other coaches from around the region as well. It's a busy lineup for you today here on the Saturday Sports Show. As always, it's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Whew. It's a late night getting back from Rochester last night, but we're glad to be with you here this morning. And, of course, we will talk with Jared Shaner about last night's outcome. We'll talk with Johnny Hollis about the Red Devils' effort last night. Todd Rushing, one of our new WMIX sports correspondents, will stop by. We'll talk about the game that he witnessed last night between the Carbondale Terriers and Murfreesboro Red Devils. We'll talk with WMIX sports correspondent John Shadowins about the game he witnessed last night. We'll also talk with Nick Hill, head coach of the Carbondale Terriers. Unable to catch up with him last week due to team pictures. We'll talk with them, kind of do a late preview, I guess, a review of Game 1, and then kind of talk about what to expect possibly the rest of the season with Carbondale's schedule with head coach Nick Hill, who was recently named one of the All-Century quarterbacks, I believe, at Southern Illinois University. So a big honor for Nick Hill this week. Speaking of SIU legends, we'll talk with Kent Williams today as well. He'll join us on the Saturday Sports Show, as we'll talk about the Legends for Life Relay for Life game that they'll have at Shagnon Gym on Saturday, September the 21st. Of course, this is a fundraiser for Relay for Life and also a celebration in honor of his mom, Barb, who is a 20th year cancer survivor. So that's a big deal, of course, 20 years having survived that nasty, nasty, nasty disease. But they'll have a fundraiser for that. It's a pretty cool little thing they've put together. Saw the roster, of course, late last night, and it'll be a neat little reunion game that they have going on at Shagnon on Saturday, September 21st. So we'll talk with Ken about that, maybe slip in some other stories as well. And then Justin Townsend of Fairfield Mules football will stop by. Happy to say that WMIX Sports did not jinx the Fairfield Mules this year, as they got yet another Week 1 win. I forget how many years that is now. 13?
13.
So hopefully that won't be an unlucky 13, and hopefully we won't jinx that next year. But a big one last night for the Fairfield Mules as well. Plenty of scores from last night from around the area, of course. You can find them on WMIXSports.com. But all in all, it was a great night of high school football last night in many places. Black Diamond Conference, pretty well. I don't think I saw a close game in any of the results, but there were some good games from around the area last night.
A lot of good games. The Diamond averaged 41-point margin of victory for all the games that they had for them. Of course, Johnson City vying today in the cool weather of Southern Illinois. But very interesting games. Obviously, are you wanting scores? Is that what you're hinting at?
Whatever you want to give me.
To do? Rochester, as you mentioned, beat Mount Vernon at home last night 32-6. Mascoutah, Week 2 opponent Mount Vernon, beat Breeze Central 22-8. Triad, Week 3 opponent for Mount Vernon, lost to Mattoon 22-21. Althoff, Week 4 opponent, beat Collinsville 23-21. Week 5 opponent Marion lost at Granite City 25-13. Week 6 opponent Carbondale beat Murphy 43-40. Week 7 opponent Cahokia lost at home against O'Fallon 40-12. Week 8 opponent Centralia beat Salem 34-14. And Week 9 opponent Mount Carmel beat Harrisburg 41-6. So if you're keeping track at home, Mount Vernon was able to rack up 6 playoff points last night, if you're keeping track of that at home. As we said, the BDC was beat down night last night. It was Carmi whitewashing ET 61-zip. Chester beat Hamilton County 53-12. El Dorado beat the Red Devils of SVWW 40-0, and Fairfield beat CZR 31-6 at home, continuing that 13-game Week 1 winning streak for the Fairfield Mules. In fact, the other schools, Carbondale and Centralia, now with winning streaks of Week 1 as well. AJ with the longest. In non-conference play, river-to-river Mississippi teams last night. Carlisle beat Nashville 26-22. Carterville over Benton 22-13. Highland shut out DuQuoin 44-0. Redbud over Pinckneyville in a minor upset 22-12. Sparta gets a win against DuPont 32-14. AJ beat West Frankfort in the over game 69-44. Freeburg over Massac 29-26. And Waterloo beat Heron 14-3. So interesting that the Valley and Cahokia Conference School get a wins over the River to River. In fact, in the River to River, the Ohio Division, all 6 teams lost. 3 of the 6 in the Mississippi lost, so the River to River Conference goes 3-9 last night. To our east, our friends, Casey Westfield beat Olney 44-36. Floor over Red Hill 27-8. Lawrenceville or Edwards County 26-8. We'll have more scores later on, or go to WMIXsports.com and check them out there.
Yeah, quite a few interesting results last night. I think AJ West Frankfurt score, the offensive explosion there when you have a typically sound AJ defense, I think kind of surprised me a little bit. But otherwise, I think the Carbondale Murphy score was somewhat of a shock in how one-sided that it seemed to have been after looking at the results from last night. But other than that, I don't want to say if there's any surprises, but there really aren't very many surprises. Maybe Highland DuQuoin being 44-0.
No, I was not shocked by that at all. No. When you got 2 beasts on the line, they got to run behind, plus what they have returning skill-wise. I was not shocked by that score. I thought DuQuoin was walking into a mess. Plus, DuQuoin is a 2A school now, and Highland's a big 5A school. And even though DuQuoin's average for DuQuoin probably this year, I was not surprised by that score. Carbondale being as on top of things as they were against Murphy, although I thought Carbondale would win that game based on talent alone. Murphy lost a lot to graduation. Won the game, obviously, that was surprising. There was nothing in a diamond that surprised me other than the fact that I thought the Red Devils game would be a little closer with El Dorado. The Pinckneyville Redbud score with Redbud winning 22-12. A lot of people thought Pinckneyville was going to get off to a good start and get 2 or 3 wins right out of the gate. And right now, they're 0-1, staring down Frankfurt, who scored 44, and a Benton team who played Carterville close. That's a team that could be in trouble. DuQuoin, another team that could be in trouble. 0-1. They've got Harrisburg next week, and then, of course, they have Heron week 3. That's another team that really, if you're in Perry County in high school football land, you might be in trouble. But real honestly, there wasn't a lot. The shock of the Ohio going 0-6 was something else. Pinckneyville losing to Redbud, that was another surprise to me, and I think the way that Carbondale manhandled Murphy like they did, I thought Murphy would be a little more competitive. I think those are the 3 surprises to me.
Sure, that's definitely understandable, and of course, taking a look, Cahokia, O'Fallon, nice little week 1 rivalry, of course, been a little bit more towards O'Fallon as far as one-sidedness over the past few years, but I give Cahokia a lot of credit for taking their schedule and playing with it, and you very rarely see any adjustments to Cahokia's schedule. O'Fallon's been a week 1 opponent for quite some time, and that's a team that understands that sometimes you have to take that beating in week 1 just to keep that game on your schedule, and it'll certainly be interesting to see how the Cahokia Comanches rebound, a team that was solid defensively last year, pitched a couple of shutouts. I'm curious to see how Cahokia turns it around in week 2.
Well, I'm interesting, too. Alton's a team that came off a loss. Of course, Cahokia's schedule is not the easiest of schedules. I mean, that's one of those deals where, Cahokia plays O'Fallon week 1. They're going to go to Alton week 2. And when you get down to week 3, the Comanches are sitting staring at playing St. Louis Miller Career Academy. Mount Vernon already knows about that. So it's a very tough get. It's a very tough draw. But, again, credit Cahokia. Good, bad, or indifferent. They played everybody like they're supposed to.
And they have. And the Mount Vernon Rams play everybody like they're supposed to. Lost to Rochester, unfortunately, last night by a score of 32-6. We'll talk with Jared Shaner about that here on the Saturday Sports Show. But first, we need to take a quick break. Saturday Sports Show is powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
More Americans are on a move today than ever before. One of the most popular modes of transportation is the motorcycle. Motorcycles take us to our jobs, school, to the beach, and all around the country. If you're a bike rider, your Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crownview in Mount Vernon, wants to make sure you have the best insurance protection while you're riding. Ask about the money-saving auto cycle discount and the experienced driver discount, too. Call Page Insurance at 242-7000 today about motorcycle insurance from Pekin Insurance.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
We've got an award-winning body shop at Schmidt Chevrolet, all state-of-the-art equipment that you will not find anywhere else. We're very proud of our body shop, and anytime that you unfortunately get into an accident, you can bring your car in here, and we're a direct repair facility for the vast majority of insurance companies. So that eliminates you having to drive 2 or 3 different places to get estimates and get quotes.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
And welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIXsports.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski in studio for you, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be. Nice pick. Allison Chain.
There's a little bit of
8:15 in the morning.
There's a little bit of that here today.
Nice.
I was in that kind of
a grunge
mood.
look?
A little bit.
Okay.
There's a little Seattle influence to today's
Okay.
program.
I like the Allison Chain start. You're off good.
There's a
Off
little
to
bit.
good start.
Of course, Mount Vernon Rams, I know, would like to have gotten off to a better start last night against Rochester. 32-6 was the final there. The Rockets take away the win. But all things considered last night, I thought the Rams showed us a lot as far as potential over the course of the year because, let's face it, it was the Rochester Rockets, 3-time defending 4A state champs. Good effort by the Mount Vernon Rams last night. Coach Shaner, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
You know, doing pretty good. I know it's not easy to start off the season with a loss, but I thought all things considered, knowing that it was the Rochester Rockets, knowing the brand of CS8 football being as it is, I thought we saw a lot of potential for the future of Rams football this season. I thought we saw a lot of great decisions from Dylan Reeves last night. I thought we saw all of the amazing explosiveness and potential of Braden Fitzgerald, especially on special teams. I thought all of the running backs showed promise. I thought the offensive line was outstanding, and I thought the defense was spectacular as well. It's just a Rochester team that has a nice system, was able to make a couple of big plays, and as a result, they take away the win, but all not lost on the field for the Rams last night.
Oh, I agree. I think we took some steps forward last night, and it is frustrating to not be a little bit closer or start your season with a win. But they're a great football program. We've talked about it before, and but I thought our kids we kind of had some goals before the game and some keys that we wanted to focus on. And when coaches got here last night and players got to all their stuff and left, we went over them, and really, to be honest, we accomplished quite a few of the things that we wanted to, in terms of some turnover goals and creating some turnovers, making some plays on special teams, and so I think there was some reason I think to be excited. Again, it's tough to start the season like that, but just a really great football program we played.
Not to give too much away, but I noticed last night, whatever the case may be, your team did not come out onto the game field until there was about 10 minutes or so to go. Without giving away too many trade secrets, was that a plot plan to keep out of the heat, or was that just something to kind of keep the kids away from all the atmosphere and aura that is Rochester football?
No, it was actually just all heat related. I had our kind of itinerary that I made that had us out on the field at a typical time. Usually teams can get out there about an hour before kickoff, but you've got to take into consideration bands coming out and playing school songs and the anthem and things like that. But as we got there and realized just how stinking hot it was, we decided we were kind of tucked away back off to the side in their old gym in the school, and it had air conditioning, and so we did some warm-ups in there, and then we went to the practice field and kind of finished up some stuff. So it was nothing more than just simply trying to stay out of the heat as long as possible and timing it up where where we can just get out there for the kickoff and get going.
A little different group, a little different start than last year. It seems this year's group had a little bit more grit, determination, or a lack of deer in headlight look playing against Rochester. Very impressed with the way your kids came out and handled everything last night and did a good job of fighting all the way through and not laying down when it was hot, long way from home, and a long bus ride back.
Well, I think that was one of the keys, and I told the kids before the game, we talked about that, just the fact that, I really enjoy the guys that we have this year. They're great kids. They have worked their tails off. We've been preaching attitude and effort, and I just knew, we're not gonna roll over and quit. We don't have those type of kids. So I felt like we were gonna play hard for 4 quarters, and I think our kids did that, and we tried to challenge them to do that, and it is difficult when it's 100 degrees out. It's always easier when you can look up at the scoreboard and you're the team in the lead. So that team that's down, 12 points like we were for a lot of the game, it's tough to get excited and feel good about it and continue to give great effort all the time. But I thought our kids did that.
Well, and continuing on with that, how big of a difference, and I know you might be biased, but I don't think you are. Strength and conditioning, since you have taken over that and kind of developed that program, I have seen it in other sports. It's made a big difference at the end of the game. Do you feel that made a difference last night, your strength and conditioning courses? And I know the school year has just started, but it really seems like that has had a positive impact on Ram athletics.
Well, I think so, and thanks. I appreciate that. I really enjoy, we've kind of talked about that program before, and I just love what I do here at the high school and being able to hopefully benefit lots of kids and in particular lots of our athletes. And I do. I think it's made a difference. And, for our football guys, we had great attendance this summer. Kids came and worked hard all summer, and we've had, obviously, the first couple of weeks of the season leading up to last night where they've put in really good effort for us. So I think that did pay off. We had, obviously when it's 100 or 101 with the heat index, kids are going to get tired. You're going to get fatigued. But I thought our kids did a good job. We had no cramping last night, I don't think. Our kids have been hydrating well all week. Didn't have any injuries. Just, your typical bumps and bruises. So, yeah, I think our kids preparing and strength conditioning in our summer program really paid off for us last night in terms of, the physicalness of the game.
The physicalness of the game your team was not scared of, that's for sure. I look at some aspects of the game that I think you can pull positives from, the ones you talk about. Special teams, offensive line, and the swarming of the ball, it seemed like, on just about every play by the defense, where your guys were a lot more active.
Well, I tell you, I'm glad that you kind of said those things, Danny, and great segue. I told you guys about the kind of the goals that we had set before the game, kind of controlling things that we could control. We looked at last year's film, looked at what felt like we needed to improve upon, and then also as coaches, we kind of sat down and said, hey, we're playing the 3-time defending state champs. If you're going to compete with them and ultimately try to steal a win and pull off an upset, what are things that you need to do? And those were kind of areas that you just mentioned. One of our goals that we had written down and we talked about on the bus ride there was making at least one big special teams play. And we actually made, several big special teams plays last night. Look at last year's film. We got our first punt of the year blocked last year, so we really focused on that. We got all our punts off well last night. Our kickoff return team, as you mentioned, with Braden Fitzgerald. Guys, especially to make some adjustments. We're trying to run some wedges early on and, had a little success, but then we went to more of a man return scheme. And Braden popped 2 long ones, almost had himself, 2 long touchdowns for kickoff returns for touchdowns. And then you mentioned the O-line. One of our goals last night was just sustaining blocks and sustaining drives. I think we've still got room for improvement on the sustaining drives and finishing, obviously, with points. But I really did feel like our O-line did a pretty good job. Our perimeter blocking, I felt like left a little bit desired, and part of that was just the physicalness of their players, and they had a couple really good defensive ends and outside linebackers. And then, the third thing that we talked about was just kind of taking care of the football and having the ability to make some plays. And and we had a fumble pretty early in the game, and after that we settled down and had pretty good ball security.
Settle down, and of course, the sun comes up. It's a new day. You start page 1 of week 2. Next week, you go at Mascoutah. A game was played in a downpour last year. Very close game. At this early stage, I know I haven't exchanged film or watched stuff from the internet or the computer stuff. What do you know about Mascoutah, and when will you guys get together this morning to start preparing for them?
Well, we'll get with their coaches this morning online and get our films exchanged and start watching that. We have a new coach on staff who has coached there for the last 4 or 5 years, so we know a little bit about them. And obviously, just from our game film from last year, they lost. Their quarterback was the best athlete last year, but they bring back some kids, and they had a win last night against Breeze Central. So I'm sure they're excited, they're ready to go, and ready to have a home game this coming Friday. But we'll really start to take a look at them. We've already started kind of talking about them and game planning a little bit, but as coaches, we'll start working today and throughout tomorrow and then into Monday to kind of finalize some things. And kids come in Monday night, and we start prep work for hopefully our first win of the year next Friday.
Well, and talking about, heading into week 2 next week on the road with Mascoutah, it was released publicly last night. 2 new opponents for Mount Vernon Rams football in 2014. The Taylorville Tornadoes in week 1 and the Charleston Trojans in week 2. Have to feel pretty good to have that schedule solidified for those first 2 weeks of the season next year.
It is. Coach Creel and I have, he's put in a lot of work, and, as we've talked about, it's not as easy as some people seem to think it is to find 4 non-conference games, especially, we're a pretty good-sized school in Southern Illinois. It's very difficult to find, smaller schools typically don't want to play a school with, 11 or 1,200 kids, and rightfully so. It's difficult. I'm glad we got those two programs. I think they're great fits for us. Not overly far away. Taylorville's going to be, very, very similar to Rochester, just right down the road. And then Charleston even closer than that. So, yeah, I'm excited about those 2 programs being on our schedule.
Final question for you, and you know what this always is a Saturday sports show, WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week, and we feel like we know what your answer is going to be. We're going to ask you anyway. This week's question is, what is your favorite gas station food to eat?
Yeah, I think you guys know the answer, and Chris and I sent him a shameless picture the other day. I think it would have to be Casey's Breakfast Pizza. I try to stay away from it. It doesn't always work. It seems to keep sucking you back there. So Casey's Breakfast Pizza with a Mountain Dew. Not very healthy, but certainly delicious.
It's hard to argue that. It is definitely delicious. I saw a new variety the other day, ham. Because usually it's sausage and bacon, but they actually had ham out the other day, and I took a bit of a bite or 2 of that. So good stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen the ham yet. I'll have to keep my eyes open.
I'm wondering if maybe it was just a mistake, because that's always a possibility. But it's definitely like the food version of crack, and I don't know if I should say it like that or not. I don't care, because that's what it is.
It is. It seems to be pretty addictive. I don't know if it's that nacho cheese sauce on there in the morning or the extra grease or what it is, but it's pretty darn good.
Yes,
we'll plug in Casey's today. We should probably be getting some free stuff when we go there the next time.
That's going to be my plan. I'm going to take them some audio from today's show. Shaner, best of luck to the Rams against Mascoutah on Friday night. Can't wait to see the effort. Of course, we'll be there, and we will see you then.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. That's Jared Shaner, Mount Vernon Rams football coach. 6:30 your pregame on Friday night. 7 o'clock your kickoff. We'll recap this interview as well in our pregame show, and should be a good night of football. The weather looks promising thus far from a hurricane that we had last year on the road at Mascoutah, so we'll see what happens. Next guest will be Johnny Hollis of the Cesar-Valera Waltonville Woodlawn Red Devils, coming up on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Complete. That's the Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois with a full sports medicine clinic, state-of-the-art MRI, a spine care team that focuses on pain management, arthroscopy specialists offering total joint replacement, hand surgery, and complete rehabilitation services. Doctors Chow, Hool, Ahn, Kowalski, Freehill, and Smith stand ready to serve you today with offices in Mount Vernon and Centralia and satellite offices in Benton and Nashville. Find out more online at orthocenter-si.com.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. Now is a great time to move your account to Community First Bank. With our new One Account offering the highest interest rate in the market, free checking, and CD specials delivered by people you know and trust, why would you not bank with the market leader in Jefferson County? We offer 5 locations with 7 ATMs and have been serving the Jefferson County market since 1906. Stop in and see why our bank is the fastest growing bank in Jefferson County. Community First Bank, welcome back to personal banking. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Glad to have you with us, working to catch up with Red Devils head football coach Johnny Hollis. Tough game last night for the Red Devils. They fall to El Dorado 40-0, but an El Dorado team that was 4-5, or did they slip in?
Nope, 4-5.
Because it was 4-4, and it was Cessna that beat them to get into playoffs. So there we go.
That broke a long lot of losing streaks for El Dorado last night against Cessna. I mean, the Devils have had a lot of success in recent years against El Dorado, especially those tough trips to El Dorado and to Saline County. That's a very difficult place to play. But El Dorado gets a big road win last night, 40-0 at Carroll Kelly Field in Cessna-Valliere. And it's one of those deals where, it's a good start for El Dorado after that disappointing finish last year where the Eagles don't get in the playoffs. Cessna-Valliere knocks them out. The Devils go to the playoffs and beat or lose to Vienna-Gordonville. But very impressive with El Dorado's last night. I know they got a lot of returning. They're considered one of the teams, along with Carmi and Chester, to be very good. Of course, El Dorado, under Brandon Hampton, his 6th year as coach, and Cessna-Valliere has dominated all those games in all those 6 years. So Brandon Hampton gets a win last night, and a very big win there for the El Dorado Eagles.
Well, and yes, exactly. And to get a win like that over a team that you've had Week 9 the past couple of seasons and last year knocked you out of the playoff hunt, to get that win in Week 1 is kind of a bit of retribution. Not going to be easy for the Red Devils next week as they travel to Johnson City. So you have that.
Well, and that's a tough start. I mean, they're going to get an extra scout probably in the day again when Johnson City goes to Vienna. And a lot of the thing is you get that, and then, of course, you got to go on the road next week to Johnson City. That's a very difficult way to start your football schedule. And then as I look down to Week 3 for the Red Devils in that very tough Black Diamond, Chester comes to Cessna-Valliere, Waltonville, Woodlawn. So it's a very difficult start as the Red Devils take on all comers here in the first few weeks of the high school football season. So a tough start, but a team that has been to the playoffs the last few years since SVWW, the experience hopefully will pay off for them.
I think it'll have to, and it's a team that keeps finding ways to win and finding ways to win important games. And not that Week 1's not an important game. Obviously, it sets the tone for your season, but, not having their exact schedule in front of me, but going down the season, like Week 9 last year is an important game. They won that one. A few years back, the 9-0 season, of course, with the talented mixture they had from all 3 of the co-op schools. The game at Fairfield, I think it was Week 4, Week 5, somewhere in there. That was an important game. And under Coach Shadowins and now Coach Hollis, they just keep finding ways to win those important games. Last night's always tough. You have an El Dorado team looking for payback from last year, even though some of the kids are different kids. But that's just one of those things that happens.
That's a young football team, young SVW football team. That's really one of those things where it's going to be tough to come back from. When you're dealing with a young football team this time of year, it's one of those deals where you're going to have to quickly turn around. You had a sophomore quarterback last night, younger team, a lot of talent the last 3 or 4 years have graduated at SVWW off the stage.
Of course, there you go. While we're at it, our WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week, we asked Jared Shaner. I don't think we ever technically revealed it publicly prior to that. I have a thing where I kind of like to ask the first guest before we actually reveal it. I don't know why.
Right.
But I don't see the exact wording in front of me, but what is your favorite convenience store or gas station food?
Oh, it depends. Like last night, it was the oddity of oddities for me.
Well, yeah,
It was a rare bad night of calories because you and I usually try to do that. I don't know. I'm if I walk in, usually I'm looking for something like Slim Jims.
Sure.
Or
Slim James.
Beef jerky, something like that. Slim James or beef jerky, yeah, something along that line.
We have some amazing beef jerky at the WMIX Q106 tin at the fair. I'll have to let you try tomorrow.
Really?
Seriously.
Oh, I'll be
It's good
tasting with
stuff.
110.
It's
I'll just
ten-
bake
it's,
it
it's
outside.
nice and tender. We have plenty of water inside to take care of the sodium. I promise.
Yeah, I know where that's
in the
at.
RV.
In the RV.
Yeah, it's cold.
Well, it's not an RV, but
It technically
it's technically an RV.
It's a vehicle that provides recreation.
For short people like me, when I hit my head on something above my head, it's
a different
not
one
very
this
tall.
year.
Oh, it's a different one.
Yeah, it's not that one.
See, I'm used to that other one
No,
that
this
we've
is a
had
different one.
company-wise for a
Yeah.
long time. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's different. Anyhow, so is that your actual answer, beef jerky?
I think Slim Jims or beef jerky, something along that line, where you grab a quick bag,
ever had
a soft drink, and go.
You ever had the honey barbecue Slim Jim? Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty
It's
good.
A little thicker.
Slim Jim with cheese last night, though. It was late night.
Mine, I love the breakfast pizza. I will grab a slice of pizza regardless of the time of day at that one establishment. Otherwise, I like fresh made sandwiches, but everybody's going to Lancashire, which I enjoy those.
Yeah.
It's probably a little too processed for your tummy, though. That's not good. I love an ice cream treat, especially the chocolate chip cookie
Ice cream on the
sandwich.
go if you can eat. Last night, ice cream wasn't possible as hot as it was.
It works for me. I got
Yeah.
it down pretty quickly. Otherwise, I got to go with the gas station hot dog. Something that I will chance regardless of where I go is the gas station hot dog. And that's part of my problem as a human and the additional weight that I've been carrying these past 5 or 6 years. But be that as it may, I had 2 hot dogs and an ice cream last night on the way home, only to get home, still be hungry, and have another ice cream novelty treat as I walked in the door at 1:45 a.m.
Well, I mean, it's the late
Whoops.
night life of us that travel around and cover high school
But
sports.
I try to eat better when it's not the fair time. When we're in the Balloon Fest and fair time, because we're heavily involved with both, I eat horribly, and then I get back on the wagon.
We'll get
and
back on the wagon next week on the road at Moscow, Utah, or Muscuda, as a lot of people call it.
Depends on where you're from.
Clinton County.
Depends on your medium too.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah, once next week starts, we'll be back on the wagon as far as not eating after games.
I will be. Last night was a special instance because it was 852 degrees at game
With
time
no
last
breeze.
night. No breeze whatsoever.
Not in our box, there was
Nope.
no breeze.
Speaking of breeze, Muscuda got a big win over Central last
Yep.
night. Mount Vernon Rams will have them 6:30 your pregame on Friday. 7 o'clock your kickoff, WMIX and WMIXsports.com. Of course, Lady Rams volleyball before that on Thursday. We'll have that for you on WMIXsports.com with video on your radio on AM 940. When we come back, we'll take a break. Tried to catch up with Johnny Hollis. For some reason, that just did not work out this morning. We'll talk with Todd Rushing, WMIX sports correspondent, about Carbondale and Murfreesboro. We'll get his thoughts on that spectacular Jackson County rivalry that was the way of the Terrier last night. Saturday Sports Show powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
Fuel economy and technology couldn't be more affordable at Ford Square in Mount Vernon. You'll love the fuel economy with up to 38 miles per gallon with the 2013 Ford Focus. You can't live without the technology in the 2013 Ford Fusion. Available sync with My Ford Touch allows you to keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road while you play your favorite music, control the climate, make phone calls, and receive turn-by-turn directions. Save up to $1,500 in customer cash or 0% financing for 36 months on the Focus and Fusion. Or for a party on wheels, how about the 2013 Ford Fiesta? With up to $2,500 in customer cash, you'll find amazing savings on a Fiesta 4-door ready to get you 39 miles per gallon highway. See their selection at Ford Square, 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, or find their inventory online at fordsquare.com.
And we welcome you back. Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zawinski, Jeff Crow in studio for you this morning, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
You bet it is. WMIX Sports Correspondent time. We welcome our newest. He is Todd Rushing. Todd, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
You know what? 44-0 last night. Carbondale over Murfreesboro, the annual Week 1 Jackson County rivalry game. I see a 43-0, 44-0, somewhere in that neighborhood. I see that score. I'm surprised by the lopsidedness of it. Is it a case where Carbondale appeared to be that excellent, or is it a case where Murfreesboro may be a little down?
Murfreesboro didn't look like the team I saw last year, and Carbondale, I think they were a little bit outmanned. I thought Carbondale had some very nice size and tremendous speed on the defensive side of the football. They flowed the football extremely well, lots of team speed. Their defensive line's not huge, but extremely fast. And linebacker core is very good. But on offense, Carbondale's got 2 or 3 great weapons. The Hammond Boy quarterback, number 2, the Bursey, I think his name is, and number 9, Gaston. They're all big weapons. They're big play capable, and they took advantage of that last night.
This is such a huge game in the minds of the people of Jackson County and Murphy and Carbondale last night over at Murphy. Talk about the experience, the people, and the atmosphere that was going on there at Doc Mancini Field.
I tell you what, it was a playoff crowd. There was lots of people. It's the first one of those I've been to in years, and since I was a very young boy, and a lot of excitement. I know they used to. I worked out at Jackson Country. They always had the Devil's Dog golf tournament, and it goes deep. The roots are deep there. They're so close together, and a lot of interlocking with businesses and people have moved from one town to the other. And yeah, the rivalry was big. It's kind of like I've been watching game day this morning. It looks like that atmosphere.
Looking at Nick Hill last night, his first head coaching gig at Carbondale, first game last night, your sense and thought of how he did things, how his staff did things as far as being ready in a short amount of time, considering he was hired in late July?
Well, I think you could see the youthful enthusiasm carry over from the staff to the players. I think they were ready to play. I thought the biggest thing I was impressed with Nick did, or the whole staff, especially Nick being the head coach, was their boldness. He wasn't afraid to try to make big plays. He threw the ball deep early and did some wide open things, and that kind of set the tone. He kind of let the kids know that he was going to. Yes, he trusted them. I think that makes the kids feel you trust them when you're willing to try those things. And they made 2 or 3 big plays early and opened that game up.
And reading the comments, Coach Gary Carter from Murfreesboro, it just, it wasn't a sense of being upset or mad losing 43-0, but you got the sense he's kind of disappointed in his team. With the quick start that Carbondale had with those 3 scores early, did you think that Murfreesboro kind of backed down, laid out as far as it being hot and getting beat so bad early, they kind of backed down and laid off for this game?
I think it definitely affected them mentally, and I think what really affected them was the fact they're in that wing T style offense, and when you get behind 3 scores that early, that puts your backs really against the wall. That's not a come from behind type offense, and it really changed what their game plan probably was. And I know Coach Carter, I've known him for a long time. I'm pretty sure their plan was to try to make that a tough, knock it out ball game and stay in and compete where they could run their offense and grind it out. And they had some bad things happen early, and Carbondale had some good things happen early. And when you look up, you're down 3 scores, and you're 5 plays, I think, into the game or 6, and then you're in a hole it's hard to dig out of.
And you have 4 turnovers as well on fumbles last night. And I look at this, too. I know Carbondale threw for over 270 yards last night, 285 to be exact, only 88 carries. Is it going to be a case Carbondale last night could throw the ball a little bit and do some things last night, but is it a case that Carbondale's going to have to go to the running game more and more as they play teams maybe obviously they're going to be more to their caliber or competition level in the South 7?
Yeah, I think so. I think a big thing will be the fact that people now know something about them too. They're going to be looking at those things. I think maybe nobody. Coach Carter didn't know what to expect from last night. Coach Hill's first game, and you didn't know what was coming, and they took advantage of that. They caught him early when they didn't know what to expect from him, and then there for a long period of time they held their own with him. That game opened up more in the end, but it was 29-0 for a long time there. That Murphy stopped them 3 or 4 times in a row there, but. Yeah, I think that it will change when people see what they're capable of, know who their weapons are, and are able to adjust. I think you're going to have to come up with some other things. It's in any situation. You're going to have to find some more weapons than people. It's going to be that surprise factor that so people just can't key on that 1 or 2 weapons.
Well, 1 or 2 weapons indeed, and that seems to have been the mantra for Carbondale over the past few years, just have that main 1 or 2 weapon that really somewhat carried them throughout the season. Are there some other guys that guys might want to key in on as the season comes about? I mean, we'll see Carbondale, of course, in Week 6. Whom might we see outside those main 1 or 2 skill guys that will really kind of carry them?
Well, I tell you what, who surprised the quarterback surprised me. He ran the ball not much last night, but 2 or 3 times he ran it. He was very impressive. And I think that's a weapon that they're going to use down the road. They went to the receiver number 2 and the running back 9, but I think the quarterback showed he can do some other things also. What I really thought was a weapon on their team was the defense. I was very impressed with their defense and their speed of the ball. They walk out on the field, and it's hard to judge from where I sit and how big they are. They didn't look as big on the field as what is listed in the program, but speed-wise, I thought they really got to the ball well at all positions. Their ends and their defensive line was strong up front with speed, but their linebacking core I thought was really, really solid.
Week 2, you saw a good one last night. Week 2, what's on your agenda, at least at this early point on Saturday?
Well, right now my attention was going to the DuQuoin-Harrisburg game, and I think that's where we're still going to go because there's always one of my favorite places to eat. Illinois Morello's there, and that usually lets me talk to the wife into going along when I promise a good meal.
Yeah, been there.
Amazing place to go. My favorite's the barbecue chicken pizza.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll try anything just about, except my brother just got back from Japan. He said they had pigeon heads, and I said I'm not going to go there. So.
Pigeon head. There we go. We've never heard things like that on this show.
I think I'm done.
Yeah,
the rest
he said
of the day now.
brought him his plate out and had a pigeon head on. He said that wasn't what he was expecting in the cuisine.
Hey, our final question deals with food today, ironically, and this question is, what is your favorite gas station food to eat?
I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear you there.
Our question is, what is your favorite gas station food to eat?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I really don't know. You stumped me there.
Well, I mean, it's, when you're driving through after a game like we did last night, no time really to stop, we just kind of slip through. Is there any kind of snack or food you got to have when you go to a gas station?
I like those deli-style mustard pretzels. Is one of my weaknesses. I can't hardly pass them up.
Nice. It's a bit of a different answer. Are they more like the honey mustard style or just the actual deli style or spicy?
No, they're deli mustard. There's that, it kind of gets all over your fingers. You don't know what to do with it when you're driving.
Those are the best. Todd, thank you for taking the time to be our WMIX sports correspondent this year. Sounds like you're having fun with it early on, and can't wait to talk to you again next week.
Okay, I look forward to it, guys. See you.
That's Todd Rushing, of course, WMIX sports correspondent, longtime football coach, and we appreciate his insight of Carbondale, Murfreesboro, and I have a feeling I won't appreciate the food bill I'm going to receive the next couple of weeks, as has been rumored. But anyhow, number WMIX sports correspondent. What?
Keep going.
Okay, next WMIX sports correspondent John Shadowins, of course, will join us next on the Saturday Sports Show, brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
I'm Brian May with a look at your next rad weather. Some sunshine, hot and humid today with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, high 97. Sticky tonight, low 70. Hot and humid tomorrow with times of clouds and sunshine. A thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon, high 92. For Labor Day Monday, a shower or thunderstorm in spots in the morning, otherwise sunshine, high 87. Next rad weather from WMIX Mount Vernon, Illinois.
It's back. RLC Golf Outlet Super Demo Day on Saturday, August 31st. Major manufacturers will answer any questions about your favorite equipment, plus free balls and fittings. You can test the best golf equipment in the industry and enjoy free hot dogs and soft drinks. Plus, RLC has outrageous sales all day on the most popular names in clubs, balls, bags, and swag at Super Demo Day, Saturday, August 31st from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. at the Red Lake College Golf Outlet off of Potomac Boulevard in Mount Vernon. Cherry Creek Driving Range is now open every day.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpal Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
Well, it would have been, could have been worse than you would ever know.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo, Danny Zerwinski for you, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Something like that,
We're struggling today.
Yeah.
Got a script over there?
Wow. No, we're going to nip that in the bud right now. No. However, I think we are all slap after the late arrival back into town last night. But a gentleman that we love talking to, he's our WMIX sports correspondent, John Shadowins, witnessed the Benton-Carterville game last night. Of course, Carterville took that one. I think they had a few turnovers. Coach, Carterville, did they appear to be worthy of their state ranking and all of the hype?
To be perfectly honest, Chris, no. I didn't think so. Carterville has a long way to go. I heard some people comparing to the 96 team, and they've got a ways to go there. The team they remind me of right now is the team they had 8 or 9 years ago when they had Benny Dress and Sean Langtang in tandem in the backfield. Yeah, I think that Ashman and Frangelo are very comparable to those two kids. But up front last night, Benton controlled the game most of the night, and Benton was far the more physical team.
Under Jeremy Claudefelder, the last 2, 3, 4 years, Benton has become a much more physical team up front. I think of Carterville as more of a finesse team from their Diamond days, even into the River to River. Is that something that if Carterville, obviously it's only week 1, but is that something that Carterville is going to have to get a little bit better at as they go through the season if they do want to make this deep playoff run, is to be more physical?
Danny, it seems so, but you want to be careful about making snap judgments after week 1.
Right.
I think that Benton was a tough matchup for Carterville, and sometimes what you see in week 1 is a mirage. I'm saying that Carterville wasn't physical, but it's possible they might have played the most physical team on their schedule. You just don't know. But there was tackling problems last night. They arm tackled quite a bit, and they put the ball on the ground, like Chris said. And when you do that, you don't look good. But what bothered me was just that their tackling wasn't fundamental like a Dennis Dress and Brett Valentine usually is. And they'll fix that. That's very fixable, and they will. I heard Dennis mention, the sanctions, not the sanctions, but the limitations on practice this year and the new safety procedures and whatnot. And he complained a bit about that, and I think it did hurt Carterville.
Looking at Benton, a lot of talent's gone through the doors in the last 2 or 3 years off this team, and they get to the playoffs in the last couple of years. Spike Bunton seems to be the guy that's kind of taken over the reins and does it all. How did he play last night against Carterville?
It's quite simply, Spike Bunton was the best player on the field last night, and I went in ready to see the Ashman and Frangelo show, and Spike Bunton stole the show in my opinion. He runs so hard. He's a slightly built kid, but he plays bigger than he is, and he's not easy to bring down. He finishes his runs well, and like I said, he runs through a lot of those Carterville arm tackles. Speaking
of Carterville, they've moved to the River to River. They've gotten much bigger enrollment rise. I think their biggest one on the Mississippi side now, notwithstanding the Sparta-Steelville co-op number. A lot of pressure, a lot of ways to deal with this Carterville team. They've kind of been the big boy on the block. Did you see any of that pressure of everybody talking on the .coms about Carterville being so good, they're going to be as good as 96, maybe affect their play a little bit last night as well?
I really do, and I wouldn't have thought that going in, but I think that Carterville played tight. I think their coaches were tight. It was a game, they had everything to lose and nothing to gain, and Benton was quite the opposite. Benton comes in and starts several sophomores defensively. They don't know what they have, and they just hope to play with a fourth-ranked team in the state, and boy, did they ever.
Look into next week. Carterville will host St. Joe Ogden. It doesn't get any easier for them. Benton goes to Sparta. Sparta gets a win last night. A little different roads to travel, but from last night, any surprises for you that you saw around Southern Illinois as far as football goes?
Yeah, I think week 1 you always get the surprises because you really you think you know what people have, but you talk to these coaches, and I was there myself for several years. Even you don't know what you have, until you play that first game, and then you see teams make their biggest improvement of the year between week 1 and week 2. Surprises as far as I think that I was a little surprised at Heron losing the game last night. I expected them to handle Waterloo. I was a little surprised at the ease of Carbondale's victory last night. I was pleasantly surprised at Mount Vernon staying in the game really well with the Rochester club. So yeah, some mild surprises. Nothing too much because you wouldn't know what to expect on week 1.
You mentioned the fact that Dennis Dress was talking after the game about not enough practice time, not enough this. Conditioning, obviously, when football started this year, was very cool, very wet. In the last week, everything's gotten a lot hotter, dried out a lot. We didn't see very much cramping at Rochester last night. I can only remember one guy going down. Was there a lot of cramping or any of that going on at Benton last night?
Yes. It was a long game because of the delays, because of the cramping. Fortunately, I didn't see any real injuries occur last night, but I'm going to say 5 or 6 kids were helped off with leg cramps at a typical August 95-degree game. It affected it for sure.
One game on the docket today around Southern Illinois is Johnston City and Vienna-Goreville. Maybe is it a case of two teams kind of looking at different directions this year, where Johnson City's young with a lot of turnover and Vienna-Goreville with a lot of people returning? Maybe this is a game that the Eagles maybe get off to a 1-0 start?
Well, it's possible. I don't know if they have enough to handle the Indians. Vienna has lost an awful lot up front. One of the strengths of the team last year was that big, strong front that we were experienced, and from tight end to tight end, they lost all 7 players, Danny. So that'll be tough. Johnson City's pretty big and strong up front this year, so they've got a tough road to hoe. But being at home, and I know it's awfully tough from experience to take a team to Vienna, especially early in the season when it's hot as it is. It's hard to keep a team focused, go down in that valley there. Things are kind of weird down there. It doesn't feel like a high school football game like you're used to. And the Vienna people put on a show. It's just kind of like a carnival in a lot of ways with their announcer and the generators going so we can have electricity for the scoreboard. It's a different feel, so anything could happen.
Anything can happen. Last night, anything didn't happen. A lot of blowouts in the Black Diamond. And until the top-tier teams play each other, is that kind of what we're going to see possibly? I know it's only week 1 again, but is that kind of what we're going to see week in and week out at the Diamond?
Yeah, I think things will start shaking out a lot more after week 2. We can see what's going on because there were some mismatches for sure. We don't know what Carmi has yet. I know that Cesar Valier put the ball on the ground a lot last night. I think that they had only run one offensive play, if I heard correctly, and they were already down 21-0. So El Dorado didn't get tested really either, but for whatever reason. So we don't know what El Dorado has. We don't know what Carmi has. I don't think that Cesar Valier is going to wall around like that again. So, they're better than they showed. I was a little surprised by the Fairfield CZR score. I thought CZR would put up a better fight than that. But, of course, I haven't seen the stats. That might have been a story of turnovers as well. So we'll know a whole lot more, I think, after next week.
Where will week 2 find John Shadowins at what game?
That stinking rushing just stole my thunder and took the good games. I think that I will enjoy some Black Diamond football next week, and I think that Carmi El Dorado game looks really interesting. So that's not too bad a second-place game there. I think I'll take that.
Are we going to have to institute, like we're all 3 teachers, are we going to have to institute a 10-year system here that you've been a correspondent longer in rushing, so you're going to have to explain to him how this goes when a job comes available, how this works?
Hey, that's not bad. I'll take that since I've got tenure.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Hey, our final question, you know how this rolls, is our most social media question of the week. And this week's question is, what is your favorite gas station food to eat?
You guys, gas station food. And see, I listened to Todd, so I had a little bit of a heads up on this question. I still don't have a good answer. But I have to say, more times than not, if I have to have something at a gas station, it'll be a bag of sunflower seeds.
Any particular flavor?
Just salted.
Nice. I'll get the barbecue ones for some reason. Those are addictive.
Yeah, I've tried the barbecue, tried the ranch, but I always go back to the plain salted.
Plain salted. Can't beat that. Coach, thank you for taking the time, as always, every week to sit down with us and to go to games. We appreciate it.
No problem at all. I look forward to it, guys.
That's John Shadowins, and of course could not do this, in my opinion, have such great analysis without him and Todd Rushing, of course, longtime football coaches taking the time to go to games each week. And I know that they would probably have a game they go to every week anyway, but just the fact that they're taking the time to share their insight with us is something that I appreciate, and I know, Danny, you appreciate as well.
Different angle. It's a different angle. Different coaches are only going to tell you so much. Both of them been coaches. Now that they're not, they can tell us a few more thoughts, a few more opinions. They're correspondents. They're with us, and they're going to join us each week if they don't get with each other in a room and shut the door and beat each other down about which game they're going to go to. And it's nice because this week you had River to River South 7 covered, 2 different games. Next week, Coach Rushing goes to DuQuoin Harrisburg. Coach Shadowins is going to go do a Black Diamond game. That allows us to have some more insight for our listeners to the WMIX Saturday Sports Show.
No doubt about that. Of course, we need to take a break on the Saturday Sports Show here on WMIX Mount Vernon, a free service from Withers Broadcasting. When we come back, we'll have SIU quarterback, now Carbondale football coach Nick Hill. We look forward to it here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Have you been by Second Chance Auto lately? The selection is amazing. Their lot is full of great-looking, dependable cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. Family-owned for the past 33 years, Second Chance Auto is the cure for summer new car fever. No one has a better selection of nice vehicles priced under $10,000. Almost all their vehicles come with a generous 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. There are no dock fees, no shipping fees, no processing fees, and absolutely no gimmicks. Just honest deals at low prices. Second Chance Auto, Route 142 East in Mount Vernon. Call 244-4582. Second Chance Auto.
Convenience and prompt service is what the Medicine Shop Pharmacy is all about. Pharmacy owner Eric Black wants you to know that his pharmacy's drive-thru staff will have your prescription ready in 10 or 15 minutes. There are 2 drive-thru windows and a staff member is always ready to serve you with a smile. Another great service is our delivery. We'll bring your medication to your home or office, just to make your life a little easier. Here's pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black.
What differentiates us is the level of service, the level of convenience. We have 2 drive-through windows, delivery here in town to business or home. Those kinds of things you just cannot get. And when you couple that with the connection, the personal connection that we feel with our customers and they feel with us, it really is we really have no contest with the chains.
Make the Medicine Shop Pharmacy your pharmacy of choice. They're locally owned and support the community too. The Medicine Shop Pharmacy, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon, or call 618-242-8776.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show, brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital, it's what healthcare should be. As we start hour number 2, some scores from around Southern Illinois last night, and you can find these on WMIXsports.com. Rochester beat Mount Vernon 32-6. Mascoutah over Breeze Central 22-8. Mattoon over Triad 22-21. Althoff beat Collinsville 23-21. Granite City over Marion 25-13. Carbondale over Murfreesboro 43-0. O'Fallon over Cokia 40-12. Centralia over Salem 34-14, and Mount Carmel over Harrisburg 41-6. In the Black Diamond, Carmi over El Dorado 61-0. Chester over Hamco 53-12. El Dorado over SVWW 40-0. Fairfield over CZR 31-6. And of course this afternoon, Johnston City is at Vienna Goreville. Non-conference River-to-River teams last night. Carlisle beat Nashville 26-22. Carterville over Benton 22-13. Highland over DuQuoin 44-0. Redbud over Pinckneyville 22-12. Sparta over DuPo 32-14. AJ beat West Frankfort 69-44. Freeburg beat Massac County 29-26. And Waterloo beat Heron 14-3. You can find those scores and other scores at WMIXsports.com. We'll preview week 2 coming up later on in the show.
Again, to me,
yes,
no significant surprises except for this one. And Carbondale gets a 43-0 win over Murfreesboro. It's not necessarily that I'm surprised by the result. I'm surprised by the lopsidedness of that. But that's the tutelage of Nick Hill, of course, recently named an all-century quarterback at Southern Illinois University for his tenure there. And, of course, Nick, the new coach at Carbondale High School, an impressive performance last night, that 43-0 victory. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You know what? It's been a good time frame for you over the past couple of months. You get the job at Carbondale. You get a big win last night. You're also named an all-century quarterback at SIU for your time there and an impressive career there at Southern Illinois. But how did it feel last night? Step out there. I'm sure there were some butterflies before the game. But 43-0, an impressive performance. You get your first win in your first game.
Yeah, it felt good. I was a little nervous before the game. Not just you're in charge of 60 kids. You're in charge of the way they look out there and the way they play. And I was just hoping for the best. I felt like we had prepared them pretty well, and I knew Murfreesboro would be coached up well. And anytime it's the first thing that it's the first game day for all of us, and we got a young staff. So, but the kids went out there. I'm proud of them just because they played so hard. And And, that's all we've asked them to do since I got the job was, hey, we're going to take care of you. You just take care of us by playing hard. If you're going to make a mistake, make it full speed. We're going to have fun. And you could tell we traveled 60 guys last night. We got 102 in the program. And, just the sideline stayed into it the entire game, and I was just proud of everybody.
This is your first venture into the Jackson County rivalry that is Carbondale-Murfreesboro. I know you've been a part of some big rivalry games at high school. DuQuoin versus Anna, Nashville, Pinckneyville, anybody you played at DuQuoin. What was this like as far as rankings and rivalry games that you've been a part of?
Well, it was a playoff atmosphere. I didn't know, I'd heard that there was good crowds, and, there was people lined up all around the fence, all the way around the field, and so, it means a lot. I mean, they played since 1921, and, just the communities. We had Frank Blyer come and talk to us before the game, and I felt like the kids needed to hear from them. A lot of kids didn't know who he was, and our field's named after him, and he talked about the importance of the rivalry and what it means to the community and what it means to the community over there in Murfreesboro. We knew that they had they have a countdown to Carbondale clock in their cafeteria that all their kids can see, so we knew what it meant to them, and definitely meant something to us. They all mean something to us. They all mean the exact same. I mean, we're trying to get enough wins to have a second season. Talk to the kids about there's only 9 guaranteed games in this. That's not a lot of games. You get 9 games, so you got to go out there and have fun and enjoy yourself. I tell them that I coach and I play because I love the game, and you're kind of cheating the game if you're not out there playing and having fun. So we did that last night. I'm watching the film right now, and we got to get a lot better. I mean, each and every week, that's our goal, just to get a lot better. And I feel like I told them that after the game. I said we're going to enjoy it, but I'm sure I'm going to put on the film, and we can't be satisfied with just one win.
You already sound like an old, grizzled veteran coach. We're going to get better. I'm watching the tape. I'm trying to figure out all these bad things we did. But you jump out early with 3 touchdowns. I mean, that when you jump out that quickly in this kind of game, that kind of give your players a sense of ease and to relax a little bit after the first touchdown or two?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that we probably relaxed a little bit too much because we only scored 1 there in the second quarter, and I think we wasted like 3 possessions. We got 10 back. We had 2 penalties called back. We had a 40-yard run that was called back when I felt like we were on a scoring drive, and we had to punt, and it happened twice in that second quarter. So, I mean, we're an offense that we're going to spread you out, and we're going to take what the defense gives you. So if you're going to give us, throws, we're going to throw it. And if we're always going to try to stay balanced or run it. We have a really good running back, and we have a couple good running backs. So, we want to be an explosive offense, and we got out to a big start. We got 4 wide receivers that I feel like can be a number 1 on a lot of teams. So. A lot of guys got in the mix. A couple guys that didn't even have a catch last night. I felt like probably had our best camp. The coverages were set up to go somewhere else, and that's the way our offense works. It's not necessarily we're throwing it to a guy. Justin Hoffman reads the full field and dictating on what the matchup is or what the coverage is. He's going to throw it to the open guy, not to a specific guy. So he did a good job last night. I mean. I think he threw for 5 touchdowns and ran another one, and Justin's a great quarterback, and I'm happy to have him. He does a good job out there, and the thing that I'm most proud about him is he's been just working really hard all summer long. He's been with those guys out there throwing routes. Every time I'll drive by the high school and see his car parked out there, and he's got a different receiver out there all the time working on different things, and comes in and meets with me before school, and so he's like our coach out there on the field.
An extension of you on the field, and I want to talk about Mr. Hoffman. He goes, what looks like, 9 of 13 for 285. Key for a quarterback, as you know, not turn the ball over, whether it's passing or running the football. Heard last night he used his legs a lot more than the past year. Is that part of your influence as far as the offense goes for Carbondale this year?
Well, I mean, Justin's an athlete. I mean, Justin could probably start a receiver, probably running back. I mean, he's a good quarterback. We're going to use him in a lot of different ways this year. I mean, last night we didn't call one design quarterback run. That's just Justin being Justin and making plays, you know. So he's got that ability. I know whenever I told him, you know, we don't want to turn the ball over, and I felt like in the past something that I've seen from him is he wants to always throw it down the field, and young quarterbacks do. I mean, going back to whenever I played, is you always want the home run ball and you want to throw it down the field, but you know those times in the game will come, and the defense will give that to you at some point. You know, take what the defense gives you. If you step up in the pocket, no one's open, and you run and get us 5 yards, and it's 2nd and 5 instead of 2nd and 10 because you chucked one long or you threw an interception, you know, you're getting our team in a better place. And he's responded well to that. He did a good job of that last night, and, you know, he can make plays with his feet. So if teams want to get back in coverage, you know, back when I played, you know, I did a lot of that too. You just take off and make plays with your feet.
You have less than a week after such a big dominating win over such a rival in Murfreesboro. You have to go to Heron, a game last year that Carbondale racked up a lot of points. How hard will it be for you and your staff to kind of ground your Terriers to get ready for a non-conference opponent and what Heron should be a very good team, even though they had a tough loss against Waterloo last night?
Yeah, no, they're going to be good, and at Heron's a tough place to play. I know that from, you know, my days at DuQuoin. It's a tough place to play. We have to get them ready. I mean, like I said last night, our goal was not to be 1-0. Our goals are more than that, and you know, so we have to enjoy and you know, this win. It's a great win, and anytime you can get a win, it's important. But now we're on to the next one. These games come by pretty fast, so when they come in on Monday, we'll watch film and we'll correct the mistakes, and then put in the game plan and move on.
And I don't want to take your focus away from the matters at hand here with high school football season, but it'd be remiss if we did not mention an honor that has recently been bestowed upon you, which is All-Century quarterback at Southern Illinois University, where you had a very, very, very successful career. I mean, going toe-to-toe with a future Super Bowl champion with Joe Flacco, of course, against Delaware in 2007, a game that I remember listening to because I couldn't be at, but just being at those games where you were the quarterback for Southern, at taking over for Joel Sambursky, just a phenomenal career. How much of an honor is it for you to be voted on to the All-Century team?
Well, it's probably the biggest honor I've received, yet. I mean, it's a great honor. I mean, to be in that class whenever, thinking back of my SIU career, I went to Western Kentucky to play basketball. I transferred back to play both sports and really didn't know where I fit in on that football team, and just, kind of relied on the things that had got me to the places that I've been, and just to work hard and outwork everyone. And so I did, and I trusted in Coach Kill and what he was saying, and, never would I have thought I would come back and be considered one of the top 4 quarterbacks in SIU history. So, I'm humbled and honored, especially, with the guys in that group. Jim Hart, we all know what he did at SIU, and then his professional career. Joe Sambursky, who I was able to play under for 1 year as his backup, and then, Rick Johnson won a national championship, the only one to do it out of any of us. So, it feels good. I mean, I played with like I've told, kind of relating back to our high school team, I told the kids, you want individual accolades, and those things are good, but and you got to have goals for those type of things. But people remember kids that are on the good teams. I won the Southern Illinois Player of the Year as a high school senior in football, and I never passed for over 200 yards in my whole high school career. I played on a team that we ran it all the time, but they want to know who's on the best team around, and we were the best team around. So I played on a lot of good college teams. Coach Kill's era is really well represented on that team. I played with a lot of good offensive linemen. I think 3 or 4 of them are on that All-Century team, and Marquis Whitlock at running back, and so just had a lot of good guys around me to make it look better.
Individual accolades we have for you right now with our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. You'll get used to this. This week's question is, what is your favorite gas station food to eat?
I think my favorite gas station food is probably a Casey's breakfast croissant sandwich.
I thought you were going to go breakfast pizza. Dang it.
Yeah. No, I'm a croissant man.
Oh man, I had my neck. I even had a follow up because I really thought you're going to go the pizza route. But that's anything over there though for breakfast is a pretty good choice. I mean, it's hard to go wrong.
It is. It really is.
Of course, congratulations again on the honor bestowed upon you from Southern, and of course, good luck next week. You go toe to toe at the coaching ranks with another former famous Indian against Jason Carnes and the Heron Tigers. So good luck to Carbondale.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Nick Hill, and of course, head coach of the Carbondale Terriers. And remembering, he's only a couple years younger than I am, so I remember his high school career. But it's still remembering everywhere that he's been and all the accomplishments he's had. For some reason, I almost got tripped up on remembering that he is the head coach of the Carbondale Terriers. But a guy that definitely performed very well under center and sometimes out of the shotgun for Coach Kill's SIU Salukis and has some pretty gaudy stats to show for it. And really would have loved to have seen Southern win that game against Delaware, but it would have been amazing to see what would have happened in the championship game for Southern. But Nick Hill had an amazing career there, and all in all, thus far, has had an amazing start to his high school football coaching career at Carbondale. 43-0. I don't care how good one team is or how maybe struggling another team might be. That's an impressive performance.
It's a good start. Got to get up and get ready for Heron next week over at the Graveyard because Tigers, of course, lost that tough one against Waterloo last night on the road. So Heron will come in ready to go. Carbondale, of course, there. At week 3, Carbondale will play Waterloo themselves. So before they jump into South 7, we'll get to see the Terriers in week 6 when they come to Mount Vernon. So looking forward to seeing the Terriers by that point and see how things change over the next 5 weeks.
Terriers-Rams week 6. Of course, the Rams will have the Muscuda Indians on Friday night. 6:30 your pregame, 7 o'clock your kickoff with video at WMIXsports.com or tune in right here on AM 940. Thursday night, of course, this coming week, before we get to that football game, it'll be Lady Rams making their radio debut this volleyball season. They will host the West Frankfort Redbirds. That'll be probably around 7:15, 7:30 if I had to guess, on AM 940. Video at WMIXsports.com. Lady Rams are, of course, 1-0 after a straight set victory over Weber Township, 25-8, 25-7. This past Thursday night. So we look forward to bringing you Lady Rams volleyball again this year on the radio and online. So we will take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have a quick conversation with Johnny Hollis of the Sesterville-Waltonville Woodlawn Red Devils here on the Saturday Sports Show, powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. It's been said that in order to grow, you have to change. Very rarely anymore do insurance companies ask the phrase to go out and get 3 estimates. The new phrase insurance companies are asking is, would you like to take your vehicle to one of our direct repair facilities? This is a way for your insurance company and collision repair center to help relieve the stress you may have from your unfortunate incident. And, as Landers Collision Centers has adapted to this forever-changing industry, we are extremely happy to announce that we are a direct repair facility for over 10 different insurance companies. It's likely that one of them is yours. From dealing with your insurance company, setting you up with a rental vehicle, lifetime warranty on repairs, and of course, Landers free lifetime detailing for qualified customers, Landers Collision Centers literally takes the stress from your incident and turns it back into a shiny new ride for you to enjoy again. Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Wilt. I want to thank Mount Vernon and the surrounding area for continuing to support us over the past 5 years. If you have never sat down with someone to go over your insurance program, let me invite you into our office. Let us show you what working with the industry leader, represented by a local agent, can do for you. I'm located just off 42nd Street. You can reach our office 24 hours a day at 242-1421 or on the web at tonywilt.com. Thanks again, and go Rams.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXsports.com. We'll talk some Red Devil football hopefully here in just a moment. Brought to you by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital. It's what healthcare should be. We just wrapped up with Nick Hill talking Carbondale football with the Terriers head coach. John Shadowins of the WMIX sports correspondent fame, and of course also a former Red Devil head coach. Stopped by, talked Benton Carterville. We talked Carbondale, Murfreesboro with Todd Rushing, our other WMIX sports correspondent. And, of course, we visited with Mount Vernon Rams head coach Jared Shaner. Kent Williams, of course, one of Mount Vernon's favorite sons. We'll talk to him in just a moment about the fundraiser he has coming up to benefit a Relay for Life team. It's called Legends for Life. Come back to give back. Many of Rams favorites will be coming back to play basketball on Saturday, September the 21st at 6:30. That's at Shagnon Gymnasium here in Mount Vernon. Tickets will be $5 at the door. There will be family fun, refreshments, memories, and more. We hope you'll take the time to check that out on Saturday, September the 21st. Kent Williams, Scott Gamber. I think I even maybe saw Tim Holloway will be playing in that game. I don't have the roster in front of me anymore. Kurt Strothman will be coaching the team. Famed voice of the Mount Vernon Rams right here. Derek Velcro.
Velcro's back. Matt Morris, one of the longest driving guys in the golf club I've ever seen.
Matt Morris?
Matt Morris.
That Matt Morris?
Matt Morris.
Nice.
Not the one event, there's two.
There's like 18. But I know which one. We're talking the same Matt Morris.
Chad Hammonds was a guy who had a lot of success.
Quarterback for Rams football, too.
Bryce Kuyava's back.
Chris Morgan.
E.J. Randolph.
Nice. I heard a rumor that Doug Creel's going to go Charlie Hustle on us and player coach.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
GM too, Jerry Jones.
He might as well.
Another one I'm looking at, Tommy Hayes. Now that's a guy that could play a little bit.
Yeah. Scott Williams, of course, will play with his brother. It's weird to see Gamber and Williams split up, though. Of course, they do still hold that shootout record.
Yeah, they still hold the shootout record for most points in the St. Louis shootout. I did see that. I did see that. I have that book at home somewhere along the line. But, yeah, that's always been a joke. That's the day that Kent Williams, scored all those points and, made those points in the shootout. Another guy, Ryan Cross, more known for his baseball acumen rather than his basketball. Because Ryan Cross is one heck of a baseball player.
Well, yeah.
The thing I remember, too, is Kent Williams could play baseball.
Yeah.
Go after it. I mean, that was me. I thought that was.
Well, I'm sure you're going to have some Kent Williams baseball stories when we get to that at the bottom of the hour.
Kent Williams back in the day in the old Colt League days.
We always get Gamber's thoughts on that record. I'd like to actually get Kent's thoughts on that record today whenever we get the chance. So that'll be amazing as well. But taking a look at that game, and, of course, Kurt Strothman, as we said, will be coach of one of the teams. If you can hold that up for me again, that roster.
Oh, here you go. I'll just pass it over. How about that? That'd be easier to do that than me trying to.
But I thought I saw that Kyle McClure was going to be on one of the teams. He'll be on the black team with Scott Gamber. That should be interesting. Kyle is an amazing free throw shooter. Like, anytime you go to Rams basketball camp, Kyle, it seemed like, would win every day.
Back to the Gamber Williams thing. That's like Batman and Robin. I mean, let's be honest, and I'm not trying to say this in a bad way. When that team walked in the gym, those two were like Public Enemy 1 and Public Enemy 2 back in the high school days.
No doubt about that. And welcome to the program now, Johnny Hollis, head coach of the Red Devils from Sesterville, Waltonville. Woodlawn, Coach, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Sorry about the connection problem. I've been in practice and inside and in the building. Sometimes the phone doesn't work real good.
That's all right. I mean, we've understood because we've been calling. I don't know about you, but down in that neck of the woods, too, for my cell phone the last few days, it's been kind of bad. So we're just happy to have you on. And last night, I know it's tough to come on after a loss. A young Red Devils team last night kind of got baptized last night by the El Dorado Eagles, didn't they?
Yeah, and, in a lot of phases of the game. We started out not too bad defensively. They went on a long drive, which their offense is made to do. And but I felt like we gave them a pretty good contest their first drive, on defense. And then after that, I mean, it's just like they scored, and then we just made mistake after mistake. And it just kind of went down from there.
And you're starting a young team in a lot of positions. Opening night at home, a lot of expectations. I saw several people, a few people wearing maroon where I work during the day at Woodlawn with people getting ready for the game. Maybe your kids, were they a little awestruck here and headlight kind of look at all the atmosphere of a Friday night game maybe for the first time for some of them?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of them were. There's no doubt about that. We are young at some positions. Even some of our older guys that were on the field last night have not had a lot of varsity reps. But as we just looked at the film together and came in, the guy brought the guys in just to assess them and see what's going on for our plan next week. As we all talked about it, I mean, I got on them a little bit because there were some things just effort-wise that were not not where they need to be. But at the same time, it's just a lot of little things that are fixable, which is encouraging, and hopefully we can get those squared away for next week.
Speaking of getting those squared away, I mean, it's the Eagles team that had a lot of experience. The Red Devils have dominated them lately. They come in and get this win. As you look at your team and you looked at the film this morning, talk about some of the positives that you can carry out heading into Week 2 against Johnson City.
Just to be honest with you, there aren't many. I'll just shoot straight with you. At the end of the day, though, I told these guys, I think we were as athletic as them last night. We just didn't play, and they obviously outsized us. And I had hoped to neutralize the size with our speed, but we didn't play fast, and so we still have a lot of positives about our team. We can play fast when we want to, and those are just things, we're going to have to capitalize on things we're good at and utilize our assets. And effort was not there last night. Our speed was not there last night. We didn't finish well. We didn't tackle well as a team. But there are some golden nuggets here and there. I mean, we had some kids make plays last night that they'd never made before, and they got their feet wet in a varsity game. So there were some positives that we could dig out, but at the same time, we're kind of focused on what we need to work on.
Seen some new names last night in the box score. Nick Marlowe gets 2 for 6 throws for 38 yards, didn't have an interception, which is good for the quarterback. Ross Owens making a couple of catches for 38 yards. Obviously, those two guys had a decent game offensively last night as far as younger players.
Yeah, they did. I mean, those were some of the bright spots, and we just gotta work. We just got to come back to work, and we're going to practice on Labor Day and try to get better. And some of these younger guys, it's a rough way to start as a quarterback, that kind of game. And he was, what I love about it, though, is those types of kids are coming up to you after the game and asking you, what can I do to get better? So I didn't feel like, that it has ruined their career, and that we're trying to explain to them, hey, that was your first game. We're only going to get better, so.
Going to get better, and, of course, next week at Johnson City, before we let you go to get back to film and practice, we'll ask you, of course, our social media question of the week, and it is, what is your favorite gas station food to eat?
Casey's Pizza.
Nice. Breakfast or a regular pizza?
What's that?
The breakfast or the actual regular pizza?
I've not had the breakfast too much. The regular pizza is the way our lifestyle is with 4 kids, and my wife running a business, and me coaching and teaching. Most of the time, man, it's the late-night hour supper, so we get the old regular pizza.
Sounds good. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us this morning. Good luck to the Red Devils next week against Johnson City.
I appreciate it, guys.
That is Johnny Hollis, head coach of the Cecil-Lear Waltonville Woodlawn Red Devils, of course. Unfortunately, took a tough loss last night against El Dorado on the road at JC next week. Of course, we need to talk to Kit Williams, one of Mount Vernon's favorite sons, of course. We'll talk to him about this fundraiser he has coming up, Legends for Life Basketball, after the break. Here on the Saturday Sports Show, it's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
I'm Brian May with a look at your next rad weather. Some sunshine, hot and humid today with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, high 97. Sticky tonight, low 70. Hot and humid tomorrow with times of clouds and sunshine. A thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon, high 92. For Labor Day Monday, a shower or thunderstorm in spots in the morning, otherwise sunshine, high 87. Next rad weather from WMIX Mount Vernon, Illinois.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. It's been said that in order to grow, you have to change. Very rarely anymore do insurance companies ask the phrase to go out and get 3 estimates. The new phrase insurance companies are asking is, would you like to take your vehicle to one of our direct repair facilities? This is a way for your insurance company and collision repair center to help relieve the stress you may have from your unfortunate incident. And, as Landers Collision Centers has adapted to this forever-changing industry, we are extremely happy to announce that we are a direct repair facility for over 10 different insurance companies. It's likely that one of them is yours. From dealing with your insurance company, setting you up with a rental vehicle, lifetime warranty on repairs, and of course, Landers Free, lifetime detailing for qualified customers, Landers Collision Centers literally takes the stress from your incident and turns it back into a shiny new ride for you to enjoy again. Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Forgot the most important part of that. That was the beginning of the slogan. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski in studio. Welcoming back one of Mount Vernon's favorite sons. He is Kent Williams. Kent, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. And you're up to a lot of things, obviously. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go with DC being the UK guy that he is, and of course you now at Tennessee. But we're gonna try to make it through this broadcast without too much turmoil. But anyhow, Legends for Life is what you're calling your fundraiser. And of course, before we get into that, your mom had a battle with cancer. That was now 20 years ago, which is an important time frame in terms of being a cancer survivor. So that in itself is probably the biggest deal of all of this.
Yeah, it is. And, and I've mentioned this a couple times. I don't get a chance to get back very often, and she does a lot of fundraisers with her Relay for Life team, and they do a walk and some different things throughout the year. And very few times they're ever allowed to get back to be able to help with it. So wanted to kind of plan something big, especially with it being her 20th year, and just something that would be fun to do for everybody, and hopefully be able to raise a little bit of money for their team.
Raise a little money for their team. Saturday, September 21st at 6:30 at Shagnon Gym, the old stomping grounds. I mean, getting back together with the gang of guys, dividing up and all this. How did it go about picking and dividing up? And was there a draft process? Because there's way too many competitive guys on these two teams not to sit there and go, hey, wait a minute, I need this guy on my team or that guy. How did that go?
No, I just basically try to divide it up as evenly as possible. And it's hard to do. You haven't seen some guys in several years. You don't know how it's going to be, but you just divide it up the best way possible. Make sure there's a couple big guys on each team, so you got different positions. Scott Gamber and I kind of went over the teams, and I kind of sent him a list, and he thought it seemed good, and we just went with it. So, like I said, we're just going to get out there and we're going to wing it. We're going to play, have fun. Obviously, everybody's going to have a competitive nature. It takes over at some point during it, but who's on what team's not that big of a deal. I think it'll be a good event for all the fans to come back and see a lot of players that played back in the past.
How does it happen that you and Gamber aren't on the same team? I mean, is that possible?
Well, yeah, it's probably the first time we've ever been against each other in forever. I mean, we played grade school basketball together all the way up through high school. So, we just, like I said, try and divide it up fairly even. He told me he went out and ran 11 miles the other day, so he must be in pretty good shape. He's in better shape than I'm in.
I got to ask, because, you and he share a scoring record of St. Louis Shootout, but he kind of says the scoring shootout record mainly his.
Yeah, he can take as much credit for it as he wants, but how many did he get on that record? I can't remember.
You know what? All I remember is Jamal Crawford's on the other side, and everybody in the building that day is Jamal Crawford this, Jamal Crawford that. Okay, great. And you guys, Mount Vernon comes out and puts a show on. Of course, you put a show on. I don't remember. I got the book at home, the program, but I think I remember most about when you two played, because you're on opposite teams now, is when Mount Vernon walked into a gym those last 2 years of your careers. You two were kind of like public enemy 1, public enemy 2, and everybody knew where you two were at the entire time. Did you guys? I know the answer to this, but did you guys kind of thrive off of that a little bit during those years?
Yeah, that's how really we played basketball our whole lives. I think we were kind of a throwback group, and we were willing to do the dirty work, I guess you'd say. We didn't care how we had to get that win, but we were coming to somebody's gym, and we were going to try to find a way to get it done. every night it might be different. It's a different guy stepping up. It's a different guy taking on a different role. But a lot of us had played basketball together ever since we were 8 years old. So we knew each other so well, and we played together so well, and you just don't find that very often. So, we knew when we went into battle, we had each other's backs no matter what different type of route you had to take that night.
And looking up and down the roster, I know we talked about how you guys decided who would be on which team, but was it difficult to find some of these guys, and if so, whether it was easy or difficult to get a hold of them, was it easy to convince them to play in this game?
Yeah, I tell you what, there wasn't too many people that you had to twist their arm. I mean, and then once it got rolling, you say, hey, I got this guy playing, I got this guy playing. Like, all right, yeah, well, I'll play. But it was pretty easy to get a whole lot of guys. I mean, there's definitely some guys that are left out. Definitely some guys that probably don't have a number or weren't able to get a hold of, and we probably reached out to the guys that were the easiest to us. But I think we also tried to reach out to a group of guys that represented Mount Vernon basketball in the right way. Not to say there's other guys that didn't, but I didn't want somebody coming in and you're going to worry about how they're going to be, things like that. But these are all guys that when they played, they gave it everything they had, played the game the right way, and a lot of fans are going to appreciate them coming back and just giving their time and effort and getting out there playing.
I'm looking, too, at the draft. I just saw something I noticed. I think you have a competitive edge already. You've got your head coach, Doug Creel, on your team. And on the other team, you got the Gamber brothers. Was that strategically done to get them two into it with each other as coaches? That way the team would have some issues chemistry-wise?
Well, hopefully they don't get into it with each other. But yeah, like I said, we just divided up. My brother's actually going to play on my team, so I figured we'd keep the brothers together, keep Gamber together. So, I just, like I said, trying to do it by size, too, a little bit. Brian's probably grown 3 inches since he got done playing basketball in high school, so he's a lot taller than he was back when he played, and just trying to even it up a little bit. But, yeah, it'd be, if Scott throws a pass to Brian and Brian misses a shot, we'll see if there's something done about that.
That may not end well, but I know it just passed to me, and I agree with it. One of the wild cards in this will probably be a big game, James Wilson. But here's what I want to know. James went to UK. You're now at Tennessee, and I know I've already made a big deal about that, but is there going to be any issue there?
No issue. As long as he keeps screening like he did back in the past and rebounds all my misses, I'm good with it.
I get some shots off. And this game will start at 6:30 on Saturday, September 25th. Cost of doors $5. What kind of things, obviously, beside the game? Are there any big other features or drawings or raffles the fans will be able to get in on and stuff of that nature?
Yeah, there's a couple of different things we're still working on putting together, but we're going to try to treat it like a real game. We're going to do not just starting lineups, but introduce the rosters and all that. But have an national anthem, and everything's going to be like you're going to an actual high school basketball game as much as we can make it. But there are some different things that we're going to do. At halftime, there's going to be a shoot. I think you donate $1, and I'm not sure if it's going to be free throws or threes. I know they're still working on putting all that together. Then there's going to be some bake sales. Obviously, the concessions are going to be open. But everything that's being done is going straight towards the Relay for Life team, which is the Peacock team. And just wanted to make sure we put that out there because they've really helped out a lot. They've done the flyers. They're doing our shirts for our games. And Peacock Printing has really helped us with that. And that's the team that my mom's a part of. But and then I'm sure that down in the lobby area, if there's anybody that ever wants to make an extra donation, there'll be people down there to take that as well.
Well, it's certainly a wonderful fundraiser for a nasty disease, and certainly, obviously, hoping that everybody will come out to support it. Obviously, you can cram about 2,000, 2,100 people in the Shagnon Gymnasium. Hopefully, maybe some standing room only on the stage, and just get people out to support this wonderful cause, and take a trip back into memory lane with this Legends for Life reunion game. And worth noting also that longtime voice of the Rams here on WMIX, Kurt Strothman, will coach the black team with Scott Gamber.
Exactly, yeah, and that's Kurt was he was Scott and I's first coach. He coached a lot of us in either baseball or basketball, and he really donated a lot of his time back when he was coaching, donated a lot of his time when he was doing radio for 21 years, brought Mount Vernon ran basketball and football and even baseball at times into everybody's home and made sure that you had a chance to at least feel that moment. You know, when you're on the road, you don't always have somebody bring it to you like that. He put in a lot of time, and just want to make sure we appreciated him for everything he's done. And you know, he did a lot for the Strawfland Park out there too. You know, you play baseball in the summer, he's out there running concessions, umpiring games, you know, getting the field ready. There's people like that you know, they don't get the pat on the back they deserve at times, and you don't see a lot of people putting in time like that. So wanted to honor him and bring him back, and hopefully he would enjoy getting a chance to coach this game.
Okay, let's get down to another side of this. You knew I'm going to have to ask this. You have had a nice little coaching career so far. You're landed in basketball heaven in the SEC in Knoxville. What is that? I'm not saying the SEC. What is that like to be at Tennessee, be a part of the SEC, running around like that, coaching in that premier basketball conference?
Well, it's definitely been an honor for me to be a part of it. It's I mean, every night you play a game, it's a big game, and you know we were actually 6th in the nation in attendance last year. So every game we play here at home, you know, you're packing out the house. You know, we see 21,000 here, so like I said, it's a big deal. And here in Tennessee, especially, I mean, we're the pro team. I mean, there's nothing else that anybody's really talking about rooting for. You know, most of the kids that come to school here are from Tennessee, so they have a lot of pride in it. But just getting to see the athletes and the high-level player every single game you go out, and to try to get your team geared up and ready to play at the highest level to try to win is fun. It's fun. It's competitive, and it's challenging, and you got to try to find different ways to find a way to pull off a win. But you know, it's been great everywhere I've been. You know, even back playing at SIU, spent 3 years at Purdue, 3 years at Missouri State, and now I'm going in my 3rd year here at Tennessee. It's been different everywhere you go, but it's fun to see the different traditions that go on throughout college basketball and different arenas that you go to.
Are you guys going to take it easy on us this year at Kentucky? I mean, you guys got a 30-point win last year against a bunch of our riffraff that we've sent off.
Well, I can't take it easy on those guys for sure. They went out and reloaded, so but it's going to be quite a competitive year in our league. You know, going into the season, Kentucky will be preseason number 1. Florida will probably be 2, and we're number 3. So we've got a lot of guys back and added some good pieces. Had one guy sitting out that was an all-SEC guy. So us 3 should kind of rise, but you never know. There could be an injury. There could be anything that happens, things that don't click. But we're expecting to have a big year this year. We're a very veteran team, and this is the most excited we've been about our team here.
I'm glad you can play along with me just to give you a little bit of barber too, you know, because for me it's kind of cool to see a guy locally get in the SEC and coach and do the things you're doing at Tennessee, because it's kind of cool to see what it'll be once this year with the way the schedule works, because Kentucky and Tennessee won't play. But I wish you the best of luck in every game, but obviously the one against Kentucky, you know.
I understand. You got to be a true fan to what you believe in. I'm fine with that. So.
I know. Of course,
just don't forget about that game we got you guys last year.
I haven't forgot. I also haven't forgot the night on a Colt League travel game up in Springfield where pool was involved, and we were playing a game of pool, and I've never seen a guy win a pool game and be competitive and say next and then get beaten and sit and stew for 10 minutes waiting to get back in like you did that night up in Springfield.
Well, I definitely wasn't a very good pool player, but I was going to try to beat you whatever I could do, huh?
Yeah, you were. I mean, it was amazing to see how competitive you were at that age and how it parlayed out into a career of basketball. It was fun to see early on, but I had to get that story out because that one sticks out to me in mind with that particular group of players, of not even on the field, because obviously it was good times winning, but off the field, the fun that was had by everybody on that team.
Yeah, we had a good group of guys, and now I was fortunate. Baseball and basketball both, I got to be around some really good teammates and really good friends, and that's where a lot of those guys are coming back playing this game. Some of them are probably more my friends on baseball than they were basketball. But we had a good group of guys in Mount Vernon, a good group of coaches that cared and put a lot of time in. And as I get older, and I've got kids now, and they're going to start getting into sports here real soon, you just don't see everybody putting in the time and effort that I think a lot of people did back when I was a kid. And I was very fortunate to have good coaches and just good people around me. So some of the guys we have on our team here, they didn't have that luxury growing up. So we're trying to be that next best thing for them now.
Of course, before we get to our final question, it's an infamous WMIX Sports social media question. Before we get to that, it's Legends for Life. It's Saturday, September the 21st at 6:30 at Shagnon Gym here in Mount Vernon. Tickets are $5 at the door, and, of course, proceeds go to Peacock Printing's team in the Celebration Relay for Life. Before we get to our social media question, if people would want to help or contribute outside of maybe that game, whom could they contact?
They can always reach out to anybody at Peacock Printing Team. They can, and if they ever want a number, I mean, we can get my mom's number out there too, and can help with where checks can be made out to if they want to add any extra help to that. So like I said, this is just one part of a year where they try to raise money and raising it for cancer research and everything that goes into trying to, like I said, beat this nasty disease. And not to mention, when I was talking about the players reaching out to guys for this game, every single player I talk to, what we're going to do a little different on the roster, and when instead of you seeing somebody's name, number, and their height and weight and all that stuff, we're going to put who they're playing for. So it's going to have my name, Kent Williams, and I'm playing for my mom, Barbara Williams, and we're going to have everybody's name on the roster like that. And as I started talking to everybody, I mean, there's so many people that have been affected by this, and so many people's direct parents and cousins or brother and sister. So there's everybody on the team's had somebody affected by cancer. So it's out there, and like I said, we can do anything we can to help to raise money for this disease. We're going to try to do it.
Our final question is our social media question of the week, and this week's question is, what is your favorite gas station food to eat?
Gas station food?
Yes. Yeah.
For me, it's not as much of food as a snack, but I got to get sunflower seeds because I'm usually driving late at night. I'm coming in at 2 in the morning from recruiting, and the sunflower seeds help me stay awake and keep me focused. So that's the first thing I usually go to. I'm on the road. I go right to sunflower seeds.
Nice. Any particular flavor?
No, just take the regular ones.
Nice.
Salt.
Can't beat those. Kent, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. We wish you the best of luck with your fundraiser, and I have a hunch that you're going to have quite a few people there to take that game in on Saturday, September the 21st at 6:30.
Well, thank you very much, and like I said, hopefully you have a good turnout and everybody has a good time with it.
And we'll do what we can to help get the word out. Kent Williams, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
That's Kent Williams, and really you don't even need the last name, Kent.
Yeah.
One of those one-namers like JoJo or Kent. So, anyhow, let's see. Next on the agenda, of course, Fairfield Mules football with Justin Townsend. Before we go to the break, a reminder, that is the Legends for Life event, Saturday, September the 21st, Shagnon Gymnasium, 6:30 start time. Tickets will be $5 at the door. You might want to get there early because last time that guy was in the Mount Vernon gym, you had to camp out for seats. So, that said, we need to take a break. The Saturday Sports Show is powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
That's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
The 2014 Chevy Impala is a car like no other. It's a world-class car. And I tell you, Chevrolet really knocked it out of the ballpark with this car. The more we show it, the more we love it. Our customers love it. The design is beautiful. The interior is absolutely gorgeous. The ride and handling is like no other. And for the money, I don't think you can find a better buy out there right now.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
What does technology sound like? Is it the clang of heavy machinery, the beeps and chirps of an electronic gadget? At the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center, technology sounds a little something like this.
It's the sound of a young girl excited because her mom's being released the same day as her minimally invasive surgery. Thanks to the Da Vinci surgical robot, our surgeons' hand motions are seamlessly translated into smaller, more precise movements. But surgery isn't the only way Good Samaritan is raising the bar for advanced healthcare in Southern Illinois.
That's the sound of a patient's health record being updated and stored electronically for immediate access by nurses, primary care doctors, and specialists alike. That's why soon, the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center will use all electronic patient health records. Less paper translates to faster, better care for you. And that sounds a little something like this.
The new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center, raising a hospital raising the bar.
High school sports are back, and your source for scores is WMIXsports.com. Also, find archived local sports broadcasts, video highlights, national sports headlines, and more right at your fingertips. Listen and watch live WMIX sports broadcasts from your desktop or any mobile device. Need a score? Want to see a sick dunk? Miss a game? Didn't get up in time for the Saturday sports show? That's right, it's all at WMIXsports.com. Another free service from Withers Broadcasting. WMIXsports.com.
Back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be. Hey, I saw something on Twitter that you put earlier in the week. Is Annie okay, or do we know that yet?
Yeah, did we ever determine if Annie was okay?
I don't know.
Smooth Criminal song?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. Anyhow, all of that aside, we're proud to welcome back to the program Fairfield Mules football coach Justin Townsend, who I'm proud to say we did not jinx. They've won their first week game yet again for, how many straight years?
13.
Every year he's been there, isn't it?
Every year. He can't lose in week 1. It's a solid bet.
Anyhow, Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, we kept the streak alive, although I'm worried you guys are going to jinx me every year, so we kept it going. That's 13 years now.
Well, it is unlucky 13 to some, but I have a feeling 13 might evolve into 14 next year. So hoping not to jinx it, but 31-6 was the final against CZR, and I know CZR played pretty well, even though it did not reflect in the score. But you guys obviously played very well to get that 31-6 victory, and had to be proud of that performance last night.
Very pleased with our defense. Defense was much improved from last year. Offense, we struggled a little bit early. They were doing some things that disrupted things, and we made some adjustments and got it rolling. But super pleased with our defense. Thought we tackled really well, and obviously it feels good to get off to a good start, be 1-0, and the front of the schedule for us is super important. 4 of our first 5 were at home, and the games that we need to win. So, to take care of business last night was huge for us.
Last night, Joe Rogers ran for a touchdown, threw for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns, passed for 2-point conversion, did just about a little everything leading your way last night as on your offensive side of the football.
Yeah, we made a point this year to be a little more balanced. We want to be able to throw the football. Traditionally, the last 2 years, we've just been a power team off tackle, and which we're still going to do that, and that's still going to be our main game. But we feel like we can get in some different formations. We can throw the football around. We can use our athleticism a little bit, and we did that last night. So pretty pleased with him. He made some good decisions with the football as well.
I look at your total yards you allowed. You mentioned your defense, evenly distributed, only gave up 46 yards rushing, 45 yards passing. Great game on your effort on your part for a team. It looked to me, as far as the box score goes, did a good job of bending a little bit. Did give up the touchdown in the third, but maybe bending a little bit, but not completely breaking. Your defense last night played very well.
Yeah, I think they had 13 total yards at the half, and I'm not sure where they were at in the third. They did score on number 2s, but that's all right. I'm very pleased. We got a lot of guys on the field last night. We had 4 or 5 guys making their first varsity start, really their first varsity time. So to get them out there, get them some game experience, we knew we were going to be tested. I'm glad that we faced a little bit of adversity early as far as offensively, and our kids responded well. So I think it's good that we were tested a little bit last night, and I also think it's good that we got a lot of guys in and got a lot of film on these guys so we can kind of evaluate. And I think the next week we're probably going to show our most improvement.
When you next week, of course, with Hamilton County, but first back to last night. Some coaches last night going into week 1 had a lot more questions with the limited practice time or the new practice schedule. Did you have those same questions answered last night a little bit more after game 1?
Absolutely. Obviously everybody's a little nervous week 1. You're not sure what you got, but I think maybe more so this year than any other year. I felt that way. We didn't have 2-a-days. We started school the same day you started practice, and which we put in a lot of time this summer, though. We put in a lot of conditioning this summer, so the heat really wasn't a factor for us. But as far as just those reps and the fact that the only team that you're down against is yourself, you don't really know. And I had some questions answered last night. we still made a lot of mistakes. We still made a lot of week one mistakes, whether poor angles or stepping with the wrong foot or sustaining blocks. There's things that we can correct. Our special teams need to do a little bit better. But I think that's a positive thing. They're all correctable mistakes. But if that's as good as we're going to play week one, then we're probably in trouble. But there's room for improvement, and the kids realize that. And, we're going to work hard this week to get better.
Of course, as a football coach, you're on the road frequently, and our WMIX Sports social media question this week is, which gas station food, convenience store food do you love to eat? What's your favorite?
What is that? I didn't get it.
Oh, since you're a football coach and you travel frequently, our social media question this week is, what is your favorite gas station food?
Gas station food?
Yep.
I like almonds. Almonds, trail mix, things like that. Like to munch on that. Somewhat healthy, but that's usually, if I stop in and get that, that's what I pick up along with the Pepsi Max. I think we've had that question before, too. But yeah, that's my gas station food choice.
There we go. Coach Townsend, thank you for taking the time to join us. Congrats on the win last night. Good luck at Hamco next week.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
That's Justin Townsend, head coach of the Fairfield Mules. 13 straight Week 1 victories, and that is the area leader by far, I think, on the area leaderboard.
Anna Jonesboro's trailing a little bit. I think they're – let me just take a little quick look here. Anna Jonesboro's got a streak, along with Carbondale and Centralia putting together a little bit of one here. I got to dig through some papers. I have more stats I need to know. Fairfield has 13 wins in a row. Anna Jonesboro has now 10 wins in a row. And then Carbondale and Centralia has 5 wins in a row. That's the longest first-week winning streaks we have right now.
Hard to believe. Well, it's not hard to believe. I shouldn't say that, but I mean, it is a little shocking to see a team win 13 Week 1 games in a row. But I mean, and it's not like they're playing the same team every year, and it's a team that's down. That Black Diamond schedule rolls over every so often. So I mean, it's not like they've. Well, and that would extend prior to them even being in the Black Diamond Conference, if I'm not mistaken. That would go back to the NEC days, would it not?
Yep, NEC start with before they make the move.
So there you go. So very impressive from the Fairfield Mules. Next week, of course, we'll have another loaded lineup. We'll talk with our WMIX sports correspondents again. We thank everybody for joining us today. Jared Shaner, of course, to talk Rams football. Re-airing the interview Friday night in our pregame show at 6:30. The Rams travel to Mascoutah. Video online at WMIXsports.com. Thursday night, of course, we will have Lady Rams volleyball. Pre-game, pre-match, maybe around 7:15, 7:30. Of course, it'll be like a 5:15 or 5:30 freshman start. Then you'll have the JV, and then you'll have the varsity. We'll have the varsity match for you on WMIX, video at WMIXsports.com. Thanks to Johnny Hollis for joining us to talk Red Devils football. Red Devils will be at Johnston City on Friday night. Thank you to Nick Hill. We'll see him Week 6 as the Carbondale Terriers come to town. Kent Williams, always great to catch up with Kent and talk a little Mount Vernon Rams basketball history. Of course, I think a lot of people forget that while he was amazing at basketball, I always thought a better baseball player.
His baseball acumen was pretty good. I'm telling you what,
Not
the
bad.
guy could have done. I know he made obviously, currently, as you look back, basketball was the voyage of choice, but he could play some baseball. There was no doubt he could play baseball.
No doubt in my mind whatsoever.
Great player, baseball field.
So there you go. And let's see, we did talk to Justin Townsend. Of course, we appreciate him for taking the time as well. Appreciate you for listening to us this morning here on AM 940, online at WMIXsports.com. We'll be back next week after the 8 a.m. news here on AM 940 and, of course, WMIXsports.com. Trying to think of other things that we need to discuss before we let you go for the day at the 10 o'clock hour. But all in all, Legends for Life, Saturday, September the 21st has been kind of the thing we've been talking about all morning long. And to be able to see that many former Rams, and I should say Ram alumni because they're all still Rams at heart, but Kent Williams, Chris Morgan, Chad Hammonds, Ryan Maurer, James Wilson, Bryce Guiava, Kevin Bowen, of course, who went on to become a head coach at Sisney, now the principal up there. Scott Williams, of course, Kent's older brother, who had a great career himself. Doug Creel, Jeff Houston, E.J. Randolph, Scott and Brian Gamber, Kyle McClure, Derek Harlan, Jared Sledge, Tim Holloway, Tommy Hayes, and Ryan Cross. WMIX Mount Vernon, see you next week.